Hey, what's up? What's up? And welcome to the Designated Driver. I am your host, Marcus D.Wiley. Very good episode today. I mean, I think I'm a part of this in some kind of way, but not in the way that my guests are. I have two couples here tonight. I have the one and only Lorenzo Cottrell Ewing and Candace Ewing. What's up with the Ewings?
What's up, man? We're in the building.
Y'all in the building.
Glad to be here with you, Marcus.
Yes, this is my homeboy. We grew up together from middle school all the way up till now. And I'm sure at some point I'm gonna tell this story, but thank you all for coming. I know you live, I know y'all say Houston when you out of town, right. But I know you all live out of town. How long did it take y'all to get here?
A good hour.
An hour.
A good hour.
An hour.
Solid.
I thank you for using that gas. And you know, as they say in the church, I can't pay you. But as a token of my appreciation, we're gonna have a little Olive Garden after this here.
Glory.
And then I have my church members in the building. Yeah. Beautiful couple, always doing things. They save, Lo. They save. They not only attend church, but they participate in ministry. That's the one and only Delvin and Chelsea Bennett.
Yeah. What's up? We in here.
Look here. You all are over, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, the marriage ministry.
Correct. That is correct.
Y'all have taken that throne.
Yes, sir. Correct.
All right, I expect y'all to book me now. I got a lot of material for the marriage ministry. All right, but thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Today we talking about blended families. Blended families. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, my producer, my wife, shared with me that the guests here today are all involved in a blended situation.
Yes.
So before we get in that, because I want y'all to get loose, I want y'all to get warm, I like to do this thing called First Thing First.
First things first.
I just want to know, I'm going to start with the Bennetts. Mm-hmm. How did you all meet? Give me the year, what song was popping, what hairstyle, Did Chelsea have bangs, Was a baby hair? I mean, you know, what was going on? Talk to me.
Well, so it was 2009 when we met. Mm-hmm. And my college teammate at the time, we ended up moving from Dallas and coming down towards League City area.
Okay.
Was dating her sister.
Your college roommate was dating her sister.
Right.
Okay.
And so her sister boldly came up to me. She was like, Chelsea said you look good.
Yeah.
Fine.
She was fast. She was. Yeah. So Chelsea was a little fast. She was a little hot.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And so right on. So she was peeping me out. So I said, well, show me a picture of your sister.
Yeah.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. So she showed me a picture of her. I was like, oh, she look good too.
Yeah.
Well, give me her number. I'll go and holler at her. So Chelsea, I gave her a call, and she missed the call. Almost missed the blessing.
Almost missed the blessing. That's what I'm talking about.
Say what?
Almost. Answer your phone.
Say what? She calls me back a day later, and she was like, "Hey, I missed a call from this number. Who is this?" And I was like, "Man, this your future husband."
Whoa! Wait!
Wow.
Whoa, you only seen the picture. You ain't even met it yet. People thought I was fast. You ain't physically seen her. And you said what?
I said, this is your future husband.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
What?
So you don't have, okay, no rebuttal.
That is exactly how it happened. But I will say, I was actually embarrassed that my sister told him that, because I said that to her in just having conversation, and she took it upon herself. I'm glad she did, because we might not be here today, but I was a little embarrassed. Taken back, she put me on Front Street like that.
So when did y'all finally connect? Like what when after the conversation on the phone?
After the conversation, it was probably about a week or two later that we actually saw one another, because our work schedule. So that was when we first actually like went on I wouldn't call it a date, just kind of met up and kind of talked. We didn't have no money then, so we couldn't go nowhere.
Come on.
So we just could be in one another's company. So that's just how it began. Conversation.
Okay, and around what age was this?
I was 20 when we met. So I'm 32 now. That was 12 years ago.
Okay.
And he's 36. So he was about what? 23, 24?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I probably know this, but I'm going to ask anyway. To the Ewens, how did you all meet? Take me there.
Go ahead.
It's two different versions.
Yeah.
It's really
Take me to
not.
the first one.
No, well, it's
really
two different
not.
times. It's one version, but it happened twice.
Yes.
So
Okay.
high school,
Okay.
High school.
and then we reunited.
Reunited.
So I'll let her tell. I'll tell the high school.
Okay.
She'll tell the second time. So high school, we're in the gym. I'm doing my thing. I'm hooping.
You hooping.
And you know.
You was good.
Say it again.
You was good.
Okay.
Boy can shoot, man.
So we playing, and unbeknownst to me, she's upstairs practicing.
Cheerleader.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember.
The little
With the little women at the top of the gym. Yes, sir.
And she was jocking.
She was jocking. That's the word I like. She was jocking.
You see why I let him tell it? He loves to say that part. He loves it. So I'm gonna let you have it.
No, so she was watching.
Yeah.
And some kind of way we met up. I don't know. We met up and downstairs
remember.
outside of the basketball, whatever.
Okay.
We met up, and the rest is
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah. And I think I was probably 15.
yeah.
And you were maybe 16.
16,
Yeah,
17.
16.
Now talk about the reunited.
So the reunited is I broke up with him. I know you know about the breakup.
I know about the breakup.
was
do
there.
I,
He saw the
do, I,
shrine.
do I ever know about the breakup? Listen, I'm about to shed a tear right now. Let's fast forward that. Get me to the reunion. I'm about to shed a tear. Yeah, get to the rest. Ooh, Lord.
So I broke up with him when he graduated from high school.
And almost missed a blessing.
Almost missed a blessing. I don't know why we can't get it together the first. And I think the span of about 10 years took place. He went and did his thing. I went and did my thing. But at the time, I wasn't saved. And when I came back to Houston, I started going to church. And at that time, I was 28.
Okay.
And I saw him at a Bible study one night, 10 years later. I hadn't seen him within that time.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time that he was divorced. I thought that his family was there, his boys were there, because I did know he had sons.
So you checked up on him.
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Checked up on him. Again, they called that.
Jocking.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We say it again. We say it again.
Go ahead.
I was. And and that was when we reconnected. You know, it was
okay.
almost like meeting again because the first time we were kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now we've had all these life experiences, heartbreak, all of this stuff. So we came back together. Well, we met each other again at 28 and probably 29, 30.
Okay. All right. So you all, thanks again for coming. I went online and to get a definition of blended families. And it was a bunch of them. I mean, when I tell you it was a bunch of definitions, and then they had other things like bonus family and step family and your Insta family. You know, I mean, they had all type of synonyms for blended family.
Right.
I mean, they had all this. But the one that I buckled in on was blended family is one where the parents have children from previous relationships, but all the members come together as one unit. Okay, will we all agree that's a good definition?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to start first, and let's start with the business. How long were you into the relationship before you met the children, and how was that first encounter? So let's set the stage. Who had the kids, or did you both have kids?
We both have daughters, and our daughters happen to be the same age. When we met, they were both 2 years old.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't advocate for this, but we were probably talking, getting ready to date for maybe about 3 to 4 weeks before he actually saw my daughter. Now, initially, I would always leave her with my parents, but then when I brought her with me, she was always asleep when I would see him. So, they never really just met. He saw her. She didn't see him.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't advocate for early meeting, but he did see her probably about 3 or 4 weeks in.
Okay.
His daughter I met probably about 2 or 3 weeks after he had first initially met my daughter.
Okay. And both of the daughters were 2.
Both of them were 2.
Wow.
Now, let me ask you this here. In that when you all came together, because like you said, Devin, you already knew Chelsea, this is about to be your wife.
Already.
Yeah.
I mean, she almost missed a blessing.
Yeah.
So, did either one of you, though you had a child, did either one of you think or say what I hear other people say, well, I don't want somebody that already has kids, even though you already had one?
So I went in with that mind frame of, I would rather have it that way. So no jealousy would arise or anything like that. So that was my preference for the woman that I would be with already have a child. And it just so happened that they were both the same age. So it worked out perfect.
Worked out real good. What about you? Did you care about dating a man that already had children?
At that age, my mind frame didn't even go that far to care enough to say whether or not he did. Now, if he had multiple children, it probably would have been a red flag.
Yeah.
But having one just wasn't on the radar for me. It wasn't a deciding factor or even really a thought of him having one child.
Okay. Same thing to the Ewans. I want to ask you this, Candace, because Lo, when y'all reunited, you had 2.
Yes.
You had 2 boys.
Yes.
So, Candace, how did you meet Eden and Elias?
Yes.
Did you meet them, or how long did it take for you to meet them?
Initially, I think it was about 8 months.
Wow.
8 months, because our situation being that Lorenzo is a pastor.
Right.
He doesn't want to play around, doesn't want to just have random people in and out.
For
Again,
sure.
we're a lot older.
For sure.
So, and then I was still trying to figure out if it was something that I wanted, because I was one of the people that had a list that was like, I do not want somebody with kids.
Yeah, that wasn't on your list.
That
Almost
wasn't
missed
on
the
my
blessing.
list.
You playing with fire around here.
Yeah. But it's the truth.
Yeah, it's the truth,
I had that list.
Yeah.
But what I didn't count on being on the list was, what if it was someone who you respected? Maybe if it was an older friend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that changed everything. But initially, I had that list. I did not. So about 8 months before we met. And then when we did meet, it was in a group setting. So it was usually at Mama Ewan's house for dinner. And it's about 20 people there.
Right.
A birthday party.
They may have called you auntie before, Miss Candace or something.
Yeah, at some point they did ask, what to call me.
Yeah.
But the first several
kept showing
meetings.
up.
Yeah.
She showed here lies.
What's this?
Yeah. So, Lo, kind of talk to that. 8 months. I mean, here it is. This is Candace now.
Right.
We talking about, even though y'all on the reunited tip, I mean, listen, people out there that's listening. In our dorm room at Angelina Community College,
My goodness.
there was a mural of Candace at that time, of Candace cabinets at that time.
Yes.
All over our room. I had Jet Beauties on the wall, right? No, this is true story. He'll tell you. I got Jet Beauties from every month just on there.
Every month.
He got Candace. I said, boy, this don't even make no sense. So tell me, Lo, how, was it by design, the waiting? You just didn't?
Yeah, we were very strategic and intentional about introducing our boys, or my boys at the time, to her. I didn't want an in and out. I didn't want to take them through, because it's already a strain on kids. And
Is it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, because
We'll get to that.
most people won't say it, but kids just instinctively want their mother, biological mother, and father to be together.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and it doesn't matter if you two love each other or not. They always, and no matter how old they get, they always kind of want mother and dad to kind of get together. So,
Gotcha.
I wanted to make sure that we knew what we wanted Because at this particular time, she knew in the faith.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's new in the faith.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to be a pastor's wife, a first lady. And she would come to realize that it's not for the faint of heart.
Fast forward.
Yes, and so we really took our time. I think we decided, hey, this is really what we want to do, and we kind of dove into it.
Okay, all right.
Kind of dove into it.
Let's get into some of these challenges. What was the biggest challenge in blending your family together, if there was one? Because sometimes it may not be one. But what was the biggest challenge, if there was, in blending the families together?
The biggest challenge for me on my end, I'll just speak for my end, was trust at first, and it wasn't nothing that Chelsea did. It was past stories of how she was. Hold on, just a second. Now, watch it. She was in love with her child's father.
Gotcha.
So a situation would come up, she would go back to him. Situation would come up, she would go back to him. So when I come around,
not with him.
Yeah. Don't put me out there like that. I was back and forth. Like I'm Billie Holiday. I saw the movie. Yeah, I got you.
So it was a trust factor, and so I would say to anybody, if you're not ready to fully commit to a blended family, and you're not ready to hear some of the, that's a scary situation when your spouse is open and honest, transparent with you. And if you ain't ready for it, like, hey, pack your bags and go, because that can run you away. So one of the biggest things was trust. The other one, the biggest challenge was discipline within a blended family.
Okay.
When we talk about discipline, the biological parent always steps in as far as covering the child. What we seem to what we see as our child. Let me see how I can put this. Our child is innocent 100% of the time. And then the step parent steps in, and they see, they're like, well, you didn't see this, you didn't see A, B, C, and D,
right?
And so they'll always step in, just like in
I can see that. I see that.
Talk, man.
In the Bible, it talks about when King David would always step in. Nobody could say anything to his child. The neighborhood grandmother, the new wife, the dog. Nobody could say anything, and he ended up turning on David in the end. Okay. And so that's why discipline is one of the number one rule breakers for a blended family. So that trust and discipline for deal breakers.
Chelsea, same thing. Biggest challenges.
So for me, I think it was expecting too much too soon. I went in because I was raised in a traditional family, having a certain perception of how the house would be run, not realizing that traditional family answers don't work for blended families.
Oh, really?
They don't work.
Really?
And so that was my biggest challenge, was expecting too much too soon, and not understanding that, I'm setting myself up for frustration, expecting certain things out of him, or it's certain things from my daughter that I feel like I'm trying to pull when I need to just let it flow.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That was my biggest challenge.
Too much too soon.
That was good.
What y'all got, Ewans? Biggest challenge, blending that family.
You don't have time. You don't have enough. Well, I'll say this, and I'll let my wife kind of chime in. She'll do a better job than me.
I don't know.
When people get involved in a blended family, they really think that they are. Has anybody ever juiced?
Yeah.
You juice?
Yeah.
There's a difference between juicing and blending. So when you juice, you don't get the pulp. When you blend, everything goes in. And so a lot of times people, they say they want to blend, but really they want to juice. They don't want it all.
Yeah.
And I knew up front that we had to take all of it.
All of it.
And all of it was a lot. And our biggest issue didn't come from the Ewing family. It came from the other side.
Come on.
And it was tough.
It was tough.
It was, not to throw anybody under the
for sure.
It was really tough, because anytime you get involved in a blended family, if somebody is jealous, hurt, are insecure, the kids are always the casualties.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Always.
Wow.
That's right.
And we say kids first, but a lot of times the kids get hurt because the parents have certain issues. And so I'll kind of let you speak a little bit too.
I agree 110%. You know, I always try to be very cautious with my words because I love my boys.
Yeah.
And I know they love their mother. But it was challenging.
Yes.
It's incredibly challenging when the two houses are not only on the same page, but we're not on the same page for like no reason.
For no reason.
Like there's no real solid reason of why we can't get on the same page. And I think that that's the biggest challenge. We just couldn't get on the same page no matter what we tried to say, do, how we said it, what time of day, what month, you know, it just, you know, and then I like what you said about expecting too much too soon.
Yeah.
I think that was some of me too.
Right, yeah.
I do. I do. I like that.
Man, this is good. It's good. I want to dive a little bit more in there, but we're gonna catch it back up because I got something for it. Anyway, those were some of the biggest challenges. Thank you. What has been some of the greatest successes of blending the family? We talked about the challenges now, but what are some successes of blending the fam?
One of the greatest successes for us, I will say, is forming an alliance with the other parent. That has been one of
That
the
is
biggest
great.
successes for us.
That is
Now, how long, not to cut you off, Chelsea,
My goodness.
but how long did that take?
Whew.
You know,
It took-
for the other households to all get on, you know, the same page. We ain't got to be on the same line of the page, but just the same,
somewhere on the same-
somewhere on the same
Yeah.
Same
page.
chapter.
I would say that studies show that it takes 5 years for a blended family to just get the ball rolling
Gotcha.
in the same
5
direction.
years, okay.
So I would say that that statistic is true because that sounds about like what it was for us. Maybe add a couple of more years to that. It could have
Gotcha.
been anywhere from 5 to 7 years for
Okay.
us to really get to that.
Okay.
To the place of doing that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, forming the alliance, because like they said, the children are always the casualty. Once we all were able to remove ourselves and our feelings and our differences out of the situation and make the child the focus and do everything that was necessary to benefit the child, then everything started to come together, because now it's not about, you know, doing what's convenient for you or having my way. It's all about what's best for them.
Yeah.
And so when we were all able to understand that, I feel like that was one of our greatest successes, because I feel like the way our kids interact with us and how healthy they look and behave, and, you know, how they carry themselves in the conversations and the love and everything that goes into it, the fruit of how they look shows us the type of job that we're doing as blending parents. So I would say that was our greatest
Yeah,
success.
forming that alliance. Okay.
Great.
I would agree 110%. Just building a relationship with the other parents was so much needed, because it affects the child. If you have an issue with the other parent, it affects how you feel about the child. No matter how your heart
Right.
start turning.
Right.
Already.
Right. Yeah.
Already.
That was big. So,
Yeah.
Building a relationship
Yeah.
was great. Yeah.
And I just think being stronger together, you know, of course, outside looking in, you know, if we actually have a child and you have two sets of parents,
Right.
Yeah.
it seemed like if we can get on the same page, the parents could come together and say, okay, this Christmas,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
we can pull together and you know, kind of slay some of these
Right.
presents.
Yes.
Right.
You know, just make a whole lot of okay for this birthday, you know, for this graduation party, you know, instead of saying, well, this is my baby, but I put the party in, you know, all that, you know, okay. But go ahead.
There's always underlying issues.
Okay.
That's in a perfect world.
Right, that's a
It's
perfect
good
world.
that you guys were able to kind of
I think that's
get along.
fantastic.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
But when you're blending, watch this, when you're blending and you're throwing all the ingredients in, right? Apples and even broccoli and all that kind of stuff, which is, I can kind of handle that.
Yeah.
Right? But when you throw an onion in it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do they even put onions in?
like what you don't even, but what do you do? So lemon doesn't take out the tank. And so how do you blend that when someone throw? And so it was so much of a challenge. Everything we tried to do just didn't seem to work. But to answer your question, some of the benefits out of the blend, we graduated my oldest son.
Yes.
He's playing overseas.
Yes.
Graduated my youngest son.
Yes.
But I think that we're still, finding more victories.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The book is still being written.
Absolutely.
It's a long book.
It's a long book.
It's a long book.
Absolutely. I would say, too, some of the successes are we still hold fast to if all the kids aren't in the picture, then none of the kids are in the picture.
Yeah.
That's holiday, that's family, reunions. It's just me and Lorenzo. If we can't get all the kids having their pictures and all of their stuff around the house, because this is their house.
Right. Yeah.
Wherever we move to, if we have prayers and hopes and plans to build one day, we always build with them in mind. Like every house we move into, it's your home. So I think that we've done a really good job with that. And another success I would say is that we worked at being intentional about not being disparaging about the other parent.
Right. Yeah.
We did not have those types of conversations in front of them, when they were in the home. For sure.
Not that we didn't have the conversation.
Yeah, but not in front of
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the conversations ought to be had. Yeah, they ought to be had.
Yes, sir.
But I want to stop right there because in my notes I wrote this. I was going to get to it later, but I think this is a good time. Getting along with the ex, because a lot of times it's not about getting along with the other parent. It's about getting along because this was your ex, as you were saying earlier, and if that relationship ended bad, or if that relationship did not reach its full potential or whatever, then maybe that's the reason we're having problems parenting, because they're not looking at it as this is my, your parent, I'm parent, I'm looking at this is my ex.
That's good.
So starting with you, with the exes. And I know things are cool now. Things are cool now.
Yes, sir.
But was there any type of whatever, we ain't got to out in, we ain't got to get out, but was there any strongholds, that's what they say in church, was there any stumbling blocks with the ex, that type of thing?
So I would say to that, yes, on my end, what I dealt with was the disappointments, the lies, like calling on weekends and not showing up. Birthdays showing up late. And so once we had that man-to-man talk, like, hey, she lives with us, I have to see the long faces. I have to see the tears. I gotta pick her up. I gotta hug on her and love on her when you let her down. And so once we had that talk, and it was out of love. I didn't come at him aggressively or nothing like that. So once we had that talk on a man-to-man level, things started changing. What I would say to exes is that you have to set a boundary with them. You have to set standards with an ex, so they won't even have that inkling of an idea that I have a chance, blah blah blah, this, that, and the third. So set boundaries with the ex. And then with another thing with the ex, it's good to show that y'all getting along. For the sake of the child. Okay.
So for me, I would say I never had a direct issue with my daughter's mother, but most of it was indirect, because when my man is getting handled a certain way, it makes me respond a certain way and make me feel a certain way. And the same is true for him.
Right.
Because like he said, he said it about about my daughter. When he would have to see her long face, but then he would have to see mine too. He would have to see me in an uproar or me, disgruntled. And so then that made him run to my defense. Now it's creating issues with you all, even though it's not direct, it's indirect. You mine, so I feel you belong to me, Mary wise. So now I feel like you wounded, I gotta run to your aid. And so that's the same thing that it was with my husband. Like, there were certain things that would be indirect. I'm like, why you have to do all that? Well, why she say that? Well, what she mean? I would get defensive about my husband or my daughter. You know, whoever I loved, whoever I was, just say whoever I had the relationship with, my daughter, the biological relationship with her, him with the marriage, whoever who back then, whoever I want to say, quote unquote, was on my side, that's the person I would always try to protect. And in that, it would always create combustible situations with the other person. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge when it comes to the ex. Definitely, you know, it's a mouthful to say about that, but I know the Ewing's gonna take us in. I know they're gonna take us in.
No, Dylan.
I'm like, no. Go ahead.
So I'll say this. One is when I got married the first time, it was forever.
Yeah.
Right. That didn't happen. And I didn't. And I'm trying to be very.
Yeah. Use your words.
Use them.
So the challenge was I didn't leave.
Yeah.
I remained faithful to the relationship.
For sure.
Right. And the other person wanted out.
Want it out, no doubt.
Or at least they thought they wanted out. And you never miss a good thing.
Till it's gone.
Till it's gone.
Till you don't have it. And then you realize what you had. And then you begin to have resentment. And bitterness.
Yeah.
And that, and I believe, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but
No,
I think that a lot.
Let me toot it. I'll do it.
Because a lot of what we experience as a result of, you know, the other party seems so visceral and so toxic and so vindictive.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it was hard to put your finger on why are you doing all of this and you don't want me.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why all of this and you don't want me? And you have to be able to see what it's doing to our children.
Yes.
And if you're that bitter and that jealous, because y'all do know the first murder was because of jealousy. And people will kill because of jealousy.
Yeah.
And so to see my sons just, you know, man, the effect it had on them because two adults couldn't get along.
Yeah.
And they were in the crossfire, and I wasn't firing back.
Right.
But it doesn't take me firing back if you firing because the bullets are coming. So it was a bad situation. And my wife was, she was being. I mean, there was a lot of insult.
Yeah.
That went along with it, and she kept quiet. And I'll say this just because this is why I love this woman. We never called the other parent out of their name. Ever.
Yeah.
There was never any name calling. There was never, my wife never, you know, kind of snapped at her. I mean, there was never any of ever.
Yeah.
We never ever did it, Wiley. Never.
I know.
And it was just kind of, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard.
Yeah, nah, I'm not gonna lie. My wife. Shit. Hey, mate. That would have never went down like that, Jack.
I'm trying to tell you.
Let me say this too, because even though now you're blended, the kids are at your home, at your respective households, is another issue when they go visit their parent, and that household is run a completely different way than your household.
Very good question.
And anybody, y'all just shoot anybody.
Jesus. Wow.
You know.
I mean, the question itself is loaded. But yes, because you do run your household a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like they're with you for Monday through Friday. And just that weekend, it's like all hell.
All.
And they come back Sunday, and it's like, who is this? I don't know who you are, like the things that you're doing. So again, I have to keep going back to this. You know, it's important to be on, or try as best as you can to be on the same page. Like try to slide it in. Like, hey, they go to bed at 9 o'clock on Friday. You know, Saturday, you know. And so we can't waste so much time with, you know, harping. Control what you can control.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
And that's our house. So we can control that.
Yes,
you know, so I can't get so bent out of shape if my daughter comes back and her hair is not done.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, she got mismatched shoes.
Yeah.
Come on, baby, I got you. Come on back home. So we just can't spend so much time there. We control what we control, manage what we can manage at our home, and pray and hope that carries the weight for them.
You know something, Wiley? This is crazy. Is that in a blended family, you have that dynamic. One of the things that you have is you know, one of the pair of the parents who want to be parents. And then you always seem to have the other set of parents or parent who wants to be the liked parent.
The liked one, yes.
And if you have the liked and the disciplinary, the like always seems
To win.
to win.
Yeah.
And the disciplinary parents always seem to have to do all the hard work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's always just like this tug of war between the two, and kids are always been toward that which they like to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so that's why in 1 week they can forget how to be potty trained or whatever it is. Like just that quick, they can lose all the stuff that you work so hard to put in them. So
That's good.
yeah,
we try really hard to have like a routine. So that when they came back, they already knew what the routine was. And that did help a lot, but it was constantly changing because they were constantly coming back different. You know, and so it would be something like, you know, well, the other parent would maybe pay for their cell phone. And so when they were at our home, you had to turn in your cell phone to go to bed. Well, but my mom paid for it. But you're in this house. So we bring phones to rooms. We go to sleep. So it's just that type of thing that you have to constantly reiterate. That can be really challenging, exhausting, frustrating.
And I think some of the things happen strategically on the part of the other parent to cause chaos and friction, knowing that we're disciplinaries, knowing that we're trying to raise young men. So there's certain things that we just don't want them to do, and then they'll go over there and so yeah, it was a challenge. I'm getting kind of agged. I thought I was delivered.
And I'm over here just as calm.
Like I'm starting to get hot.
I have dealt with it all.
Get you a sip of water, Lord. Get you a sip of water. Chelsea, you want to add something? That you want to add
I was
something?
just gonna say that I 100% agree with everything that everybody said. But the one thing I had to do was I had to go to God and pray for myself and say, God, okay, we know that good outweighs evil because you are good, right? So I can pray against certain things and it may not happen on my time, but eventually it will come to fruition. And I had to realize that I had to get the judgment out of my head and say, okay, just because they don't do things the way that I do them or the way that we do them doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them evil. It doesn't make them less of a good parent than I am. Because I found myself judging, like, why you do it like that? Like, we don't do it like that. This is better my way. We were like, well, I can't speak for my husband. I was like, the way I do it is the right way. You tripping.
For sure.
You need to get on the bandwagon and do it like this so she can be one way. But I had to realize that just because we do it different doesn't mean my way is better.
Right.
You know, and sometimes, you know, they're exposed to certain things that we try to protect them from, but when they with the other parent, soon the child will see for themselves what the proper way of doing something is. So it's like if it's all buck wild over here and it's all structure over here, then they'll soon be able to make their own decision about what path they're going to choose and what's going to produce good fruit in their life. I don't have to force that on them. They'll be able to make the decision when it's time for them to make it for themselves.
That's good. Yeah, that's how I had to learn that in marriage.
Come on.
I had to learn that in marriage, just about my way, versus my wife's way. And everybody think that their way is the way.
Right.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, it's been working for you. So you know what I'm saying? It ain't like I'm bringing the way it's been working, you know. But I definitely had to realize, okay, it's other ways. Even if I ain't a fan of it. There's other ways to do it.
There are other ways, but I think that you have to have some non-negotiables.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And when you have an ex who has some non-negotiables, it changes the playing field. You know what I'm saying? There are some things that you can adjust to and let slide and accept because they're getting older, things are changing. But then there's other things that are detrimental to them. There's verbal things, there's, physical things that can take place that they can partake in or see. And you have to speak up against that and say, that is not right.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that it's different. It's that
our situation
that's wrong.
is probably different than a whole lot of people's situation.
Different because, for one, I think a lot of time the scenario is that the father is the one who causes a lot of maybe neglect or emotional,
trauma.
And so I think it's different that way. And then also our sons, they were with us a lot, more than what a typical, I think, father would have his kids.
They were always with us. At church, they was with. I mean, they were always
summers. All summer.
And so it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard.
Okay. Before I jump into this, I want to ask this because I was watching this show. Erica, she watch all type of TV. She recorded everything that come on TV. This was an older show, and it featured Dwayne Martin and what's my girl from the Players Club name? Lisa Ray.
Okay.
I think it was produced by Will Smith. What was the name of the show? All for One? All of Us?
All of Us.
All of Us.
I remember that.
It was kind of like the first little sitcom about a blended family. At least,
I didn't know
at least
Will
was
was
black.
Okay.
Yeah, Will Smith was behind that. And I wanted to ask, is it a such thing as too cool of a blended family? And I know probably the y'all haven't experienced this, but maybe the business have, because on that show, the parent that wasn't living there had a key to the house where they was just so cool because she wanted to be a part of her child's life, and so she didn't want to miss nothing. So she had a room there when when they were just doing family night type of stuff. So, and of course that's television. But I just want to throw that. Is it a such thing as a too cool of a blended family?
I'm gonna let y'all speak. I have my answer, but I'm gonna let I want to hear what you guys.
That was TV, of course.
Yeah, again, it's TV. So I think with us, I'll just speak from the business household. You have to set boundaries. It's no key, no room, none of that. Birthdays, games, because our kids involved in sports.
Sure.
We even go out to eat. We'll take them out to eat, and we'll cover the tab.
Gotcha.
Those type of things. But too cool. Nah, I wouldn't do all that. Like I said, it's just a certain line you got to draw. They're X.
Gotcha.
So sometimes you got to exit out.
Exit out.
What y'all think?
I was sitting here really thinking about that question now.
Because
I
my
know,
answer is a little different than yours.
I think so. I feel like
it's different than yours because because of what we went through.
Yes.
And so if it's cool like that, and everybody can drink blended Kool-Aid, let's drink it. I mean, that's,
I don't know about a key. And I don't know about a room at the house, but maybe like when we vacation together.
Going on vacations together, all that type
Birthdays,
of stuff.
holidays, reunions.
For sure.
I think
What about the family picture? Everybody in the ones.
Yes.
Y'all did that?
Yes.
I think I could
Yes.
do it. I think I
Everything
could,
but the key
especially if
part.
they had a spouse
you're
or
not
a partner.
Yeah.
I think it would even help
Right.
that, and I would be open to that. So I think my answer is surprisingly a little different
Yeah.
than I thought it would. I told you I'm
shocked.
cool, just
I'm
as
shocked.
calm over
I'm
here.
shocked. You've been delivered. She has been delivered. She's been delivered.
Let me ask you this here. What is a positive step, or give me one positive step to take in building a relationship with your stepkids? Like, what is one positive step to take in building a relationship with your stepkids? Now, let me say this. I was just with Lo on his lunch on Wednesdays, and I was sharing with him that when my mom got married, now, of course, we weren't like a blended family. My stepfather had kids, but they were grown. They wasn't with us.
But that is a blend.
But it's a blend. But I'm just saying I'm not on y'all level. Is what I'm saying. Like that. And so my stepfather, whom I really never even say stepfather, like he, my dad. Period.
Right.
And what he did, I was sharing with Lo. When we got out to the house in Mo City, he threw a barbecue. And we had this talk. He just said, "Hey, brother, I love your mom. I love you. I married your mom. I married you. This is a package deal." He was like, "I know I'm not your biological father." He said, "But I'm the man of this house. You know, I'm the man of this house." And you know, he just kind of set the tone early.
Right.
And I ain't really, I wasn't in any type of limbo like. You know, the biggest thing I had was what I'm gonna call you, cuz. You know, that was the big thing. Like, what I'm gonna call you? And he said, "Well, my name's Joe."
Yeah.
You know, and you know, at the time I only knew him as Pastor Coach, because he was a pastor. I don't know him as Pastor, so I was like, "What I'm gonna call you?" He was like, "My name's Joe." So I walk around, Joe. Everybody, Pastor, Joe. You know, just. And then eventually I started calling him Dad, because as I grew, I think one of you all said it. As I grew up and noticed how he was taking care of me, taking care of my mom and everything, that was my dad.
That's right.
You know, and so what is one step now that I think you can tell me, one positive step, you know, to take and build a relationship with stepkids?
I would say one thing that you could do is you can start by building on the smallest common interest between you and them.
Oh, okay.
And what I mean by that is I'm not into sports. My husband is. My daughter loves basketball. They built from that smallest common interest. His daughter, or I'm saying his and my, but just to differentiate.
For clarity right now.
For clarity right now.
I got it. They y'all.
So our oldest baby, his daughter, she loves makeup. I love makeup. So we built from that common interest. So that's where we kind of begin the driving force of building a relationship that's not centered around her dad, or a relationship with my daughter that's not centered around me. What do we have in common? I want to get to know you more because I want to love you beyond our circumstance. So where do we begin? Let's begin on something that both of us like. So I would say that's a place that you can start. That's one of the places that you can start building a relationship with that child. And it's kind of age appropriate as well, because when they're older, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, because our boys are 24 and 22. He's about to be 23. And what I try to do is just affirm them. You know, the oldest plays basketball, so there's a lot of talking about that, checking in on that, and telling him how good he's doing, how proud we are of him. And then our youngest son is a comedian, wants to do scripts and writing and stuff, so I engage with him and, show him all of this stuff, these comedians that he's never heard of, because I'm trying to, just basically affirm them and let them know that this family wouldn't be the same without you. Like, you're an important part of this family. And, if you have questions that you want to ask us and me, especially when they were younger, I would say, we're going to have honest conversations that's age appropriate.
Yes, I think early on, I think you just kind of rolled up your sleeves. And kind of let them know, look, I'm here for you. Call me what you want to call me. I'm here for you. And I think to earn that level of respect, she taught Elias how to read, how to tie shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she really kind of got in and did the mother stuff. And I think that goes a long way.
For sure.
You know? Yeah, like what you're saying about your dad, he earned your respect.
No doubt.
Like, and you didn't start calling him dad to high school.
To high school.
He ain't come to you and say, man, you got to call me. He just kind of, was an example. And so I think that's really important.
Yeah.
In any blended family, not demanding that. You going to call me daddy. You going to call me mom. All you do is push them away.
Right.
Because they're already trying to figure it out.
What about the whooping? So let's go with discipline. Now, I know we say
You
discipline.
don't want to talk about this.
I know we say discipline. I mean, because that's PC, politically correct.
Yeah.
But whoopings, like, because even though you all love each other and all that, I've seen things. Hey, don't touch my baby. That's my baby. That's my child, and all that old type of stuff. Not saying that this happened here, but let's talk about that. Candace, did you ever, let's say, first whoop the boys? And did you?
Here we go.
Or did you? And did you discipline them as it? No TV. Or you can't go out. You can't go there. And blah blah blah.
I whooped.
Yeah.
I whooped well, I don't think I spanked Eden. I can't remember spanking him, but I did spank Elias.
You got Elias.
I got Elias. And he
It was a game changer, too.
proceeded.
It was a game changer.
Yeah, that whooping actually was a game changer.
Because
Not in a good way.
because yeah.
It kind of changed everything.
What?
Well, because he has his heart condition, he's supposed to take medication. He was throwing the medication in the trash. Like, he has a serious heart issue. So he got a few pops with a belt on his behind, and he knew he was going to get it, because I think discipline and abuse are different.
For sure. No
When
doubt.
you receive discipline, you can anticipate, I'm about to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I was told to not do this, to not go here, to do this thing. And then abuse is just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
I see you and I'm slapping you upside your head. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I spank him. He goes
That's
to the
good. I
room,
like
and
that.
he's saying that, he wants to call his mama. And I said, I will call her for you.
Yeah.
And I went and got on the phone and called her and told her what happened. And then I gave the phone to him. And still to this day, Elias will tell you, I was totally thrown off when you told me, I'm going to call her for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so that was the first time.
Now, was it received well on the other end?
That first time it was.
Okay.
But I will say this was before I also had my daughter.
For sure.
Because when I got pregnant with my daughter, the game changed completely. Like, an audible was called, and it was like not even football. It was soccer. They don't even call audibles in soccer. And so the second time I spanked him, she decided to call Lorenzo and talk about it and basically go through what we spoke about earlier. This is my child. You can't do this, you can't do that, and all of that. And at the time, I think I was pregnant with Elizabeth, and when she hung up with him, she called me, and that's when the other side.
The other side.
She was ready to throw down.
I'm like 9 months pregnant. Clowning.
Yeah.
Calm down. Chill.
And that's the thing. The other parent, and I'm not just talking about your situation, I'm talking about the Nana situation, should already know, hey, you know me, you know what I'm about. This was needed right here, for that. I'm not around here, as you say, Kansas. I'm not abusing.
Right.
Something happened that they needed to be spanked. They needed to,
And we called and communicated it to her. And I actually learned that from Lorenzo, because I remember when he said they were growing up and they would get spankings. After they would get spankings and they would, go through their crying and all of this, their dad would come in and talk to them about it. Like, he wouldn't stay mad. He wouldn't stay. So that was part of that. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to call your mom. So that's kind of how we were trying to co-parent and make it work together.
Trying to be as responsible as we could. But even in that situation, but you also have the disciplinary problem that could happen within the blend.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you were saying, and I always say this to couples. It's funny that the man is good enough to sleep with you, stay in the same bed with you, pay the bills, whatever, but he's not good enough to discipline your kid.
Wow.
It's like, and so don't marry somebody and they cannot discipline your child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it totally throws everything off kilter. Like we can be together.
Yeah.
And we can hug and kiss and make all and do all this stuff, but you don't trust me with your child. And it can be real. It can be real serious.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, it can be real serious.
Yeah, I get it.
I tell people all the time, if you don't trust a man, don't marry him.
Yeah.
Just don't marry him.
I mean, I agree with everything that you said. I mean,
It's crazy, right?
everything y'all said, 110% agree. But with discipline, if a child is instantly disobedient, discipline comes right behind that. Right behind it. And then so you have to set the stage with, who disciplined the child. First, I think the biological parent should discipline the child up until they trust, like you said, Pastor Lowe. And so, and again, I'll piggyback off of what you said. Discipline without love is abuse already. And then love, aka spoiling a child without discipline, is future abuse.
Right.
You're setting them up for failure. If you do not step in and discipline that child, they'll turn on you.
Yeah.
They'll use that to their advantage.
It's true.
That's good, Mr. Bennett.
And I just want to add to that studies show that it takes in a blended family about 12 to 18 months generally for the child to feel safe enough and the parent to release that control. There are steps to take up until that point. Like, you don't just get married and say 2 days later, I'm finna whoop them.
Right.
Like, you got to
Work
build
your way up. You work your way up to that.
Oh, wait a
I've been
minute.
ready to whoop your ass.
I've been waiting to get a hold of you. That's not gonna sit well with a parent. But like he said, if you don't feel safe with this person, why would you marry them? Because they're going to be a part of every facet of your child's life.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you discuss these things, and like he said, if you can do all the good, then the equal opposite comes with that. And so once you've built a love relationship with that child, once you've cried with that child, once you've become an advocate for that child, and that child feels safe with you, and that parent, the biological parent, releases that control to you, now you're ready.
Right.
Now you're ready to step into the area of, because before then you're just an extension of discipline. You're an enforcer of what the biological parent has already said. What did your mother say?
Right.
And you're an extension of that discipline. But
I
then
do that
you
now.
Right. What your mama say? Come on. But then you step into that place where you become a physical disciplinarian as well. And like they said, hey, when you love that child, it's not abuse. A lot of times in when we're meshing a family, when we're blending, we lower the bar because of the situation that our child has gone through, and we feel like we owe them something that we don't want anybody else to come in and discipline them. So we lower the bar. So then when the other parent has to step in and become a physical disciplinarian, we don't like the way it makes our child feel. So then, because of the chemistry between you and your child, in turn, you feel some type of way too, even though you know your child was wrong. Now you saw the mischief, the biological bond. It creates tension with you and your spouse because you don't like the way it makes them feel, even though your child was wrong and you know they was wrong.
Chelsea, I didn't even know you talk like this shit. I'm not. I'm just sitting over. I'm trying to think back at church. I'm going. I don't really remember.
Got a deep well. A deep well.
I just remember her just running her mouth like this here. I'm sitting over here. I'm about to ask you, are you a psychologist? Okay.
Great.
Okay.
That's great.
As y'all say at the church, Lo, we're getting ready to close.
Yeah.
Getting ready to close.
This the real one?
This the second or the third. This ain't the real. They say hindsight, of course, is better than 2020.
Yeah.
Question for everybody: if you could do anything differently, what would it be?
Man, great question.
I think I would have preferred to have premarital counseling in addition to the normal that you get when you get married, to have blended family counseling.
Right.
To have that aspect and maybe even a support group. Right. I don't even know if that exists, but I'm like, maybe I need it.
You get involved.
Yeah,
Get
a
some
support
counseling.
group.
Yeah.
Because you feel alone.
Right.
And you feel like you're always wrong.
Right. Yeah.
You're always the one bringing up something. You know, you just feel like, well, maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Maybe I am actually losing my mind. Like, you know, you just, but I feel like if you have a support group and maybe have some type of counseling to kind of not just say, well, it should be about the kids.
Yeah.
Well, I need the group of people that said, well, it should be about the kids, but it wasn't, so I need your help.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the group that I need. So that would be what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you all had a conference at the church.
Yes.
We
correct?
did.
Yes.
We did.
About this.
Yeah, we did. I would have gone to that.
Right.
I just would have wanted more insight
More
to the
insight.
reality, how to respond, how to, not expect too much too soon.
Yeah, yeah.
All of those things. Just give me something to work with.
And probably the counselor needs to be a person who is in a blend, because you can't really speak to a blended family
True.
and you haven't been in a blended family.
I'm with you.
And a lot of people don't know this, but Jesus was kind of in a blended family.
Yeah.
And I tell all the women who have children who
Yeah.
so you always want to look for a Joseph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to find somebody that's going to treat your child like it's their child.
Yeah.
And so I think that, getting that counseling is so vitally, and there's so many, blended family counseling centers now.
Yeah. Now.
They didn't have that kind of stuff back when we got it.
Just dive in. Go. Matter of fact, I may have been pushed.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. Okay.
One of the things you talked about, in having full disclosure.
Yeah.
Kind of knowing all of those pitfalls and I think a lot of stuff we just didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And understandably so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, talk to me.
I would say for us, if I can go back and do anything differently, it would be more patience.
Okay.
We live in a instant gratification type of world.
Yes, the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll steal this from you real fast, Pastor Lowe. We have the microwave where, hey, I want this done.
Yeah.
Then the blender, with the blending, we try to force it.
Right.
But then I would go back and say, if I could do anything differently, I would put mine in a crock pot.
Oh, man.
All
Let
right
that thing
now.
simmer.
Let it simmer.
Let it marinate, slow cook.
That's right.
Huh?
Okay.
The baby gonna be 37 by that time.
I'm gonna add it. The crock pots.
Let it simmer.
That's good.
It ain't nothing left for me to say.
Wow, that's
They
good.
done said it all.
They done said it out.
Yes, sir.
That's
Normally, I give some keys, right? But I agree with you. If you're not in a blended family, how can I give keys? I'm like that with marriage. Single folk can't shut up. Don't tell me,
Not one
man,
thing.
shut your mouth.
Not
I don't
one
want to. If you ain't never been married, don't tell me. I don't even. I be want to slap them. Truth be told, I'm just telling you.
But can I say something? You keep saying you wasn't involved in a blended family, but you were.
But not in this facet.
But maybe you didn't have siblings that were.
Yeah, I didn't have the
But
sibling.
your dad was that was a blend.
That was a blend.
Right.
No doubt.
In a major way, it was a blend.
Yeah.
You didn't have to live respectably with other children.
Yeah,
Right.
you were in a blend.
Yeah.
And you were in a blend.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me give you these keys then.
But here's the good thing is, watch this. Here's the good thing is that the blend was so great.
Come on.
He doesn't even recognize that he was in a blend.
That's true.
That's the word right there.
He got a Vitamix blender. The one that you can do the soup.
Yes.
Yeah, because I just I ain't never looked at it. You know, and I ain't one of the people that try to be in everything. You know, me too.
Yeah.
No, I'm not the me too. I almost got hit by a book. Me too. No, I didn't. Okay, I want to end with these two quotes though that I'm using for my keys. I got the keys. I got the keys. And you all just tell me, and this is the end. One of the quotes, because it was quotes on the blended family. You know, you can Google everything now, right? Mm-hmm. And I was Googling some stuff, and I just picked out a couple of quotes that I thought was, I said, okay, let me ask. One of the quotes said, everything is figure-outable with a blended family. Everything is figure-outable. Like, I guess they're saying there's nothing that we cannot. And then, could be white people that wrote this. I don't know. I'm just trying to tell you.
It is.
But it's like everything is figure-outable. That caught my attention. I just want to throw it out there to y'all. Mm-hmm. Is everything figure-outable?
Well,
somebody from the Brady Bunch wrote that.
Well, no, I was going to say, but it doesn't say that you have to like it.
I didn't say that.
You just have to figure it out. I agree with it.
You agree with it?
I agree with it.
I just come to the conclusion, he crazy.
I can't.
If that's figuring it out, then
I'm just saying everything is figure-outable.
I think that everything is figure-outable, but it's gonna take you to go and get. It's not gonna come to you. You have to go and get. If it's figure-outable, you're gonna have to do the work to figure it out.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So it's not just it's not gonna haphazardly happen.
Yeah.
If it's gonna
fall
work,
in your lap.
Exactly. If it's gonna work, you gotta
gonna
roll
take
up
some
your
work.
sleeves and do the work. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of got that out of that too.
It's good.
And then this last one, your ex is not your child's ex.
I totally agree.
Your ex, meaning, your ex is not your child's ex. What I got from that particular quote was that once you split with whoever you was with, and especially if you have custody of the child, then you, I want to go see whoever. No, we ain't with them.
Yeah.
Right.
He or she, that's our ex.
Yeah.
So your ex
That's good.
is not your child's ex.
I
That's your
totally
child's
agree.
parent.
That's
your
their
child's
parent.
parent.
Totally agree with
That's their
that.
parent. I totally agree.
Yeah.
What we have to realize is you once had an intimate relationship with this person. You still have a relationship, but now it's a parental relationship. The state of your relationship has changed, you and them, but not the child and their parent. Right. Their state of relationship has never changed. Right. Maybe they're residents, but the dynamics of their relationship will always be the same, parent-child. Yeah. Yours went from lover to parent, co-parent.
Yeah. Right.
So don't try to force the child to switch with you
Or feel how
you feel about it, because the divorce of a marriage is the loss of a marriage is the divorce. It's the death of a family.
Right.
So you have to allow your child to mourn them and not try to make them get over it. Like we're not together. That's you're not there anymore. Right. You have to cope with your child and understand them and not try to make them come up to your level, but you come down to theirs.
Listen. I think we good.
All the way.
Man, the Bennetts, the Ewans, I want to say thank you so much for joining me on the Designated Driver Podcast, Blended Families. Yeah. Now, when people hear this, they probably blended, okay? And they probably going to want to some kind of way get in touch with you. We in this world now where they want to follow you and you said something I like. I want to. So if you don't mind, if it's cool with you, I want you all to give your appropriate handles where they can follow you and all that good stuff. Starting
you
with
can
the Ewing.
find Facebook, Lorenzo Ewing's only one of them. Instagram, Lorenzo Ewing.
And then the Fellowship of Love Church is on the Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I'm at Lady Candace on Instagram.
Okay. Bennett's.
You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, Chelsea Bennett. That's CHEL''C.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Bennett, 2 N's, 2 T's.
Also Facebook, Delvin Bennett, and YouTube, Delvin and Chelsea Bennett.
Man, thank y'all so much, Delvin, Chelsea, Candace, Lorenzo Cottrell. Appreciate y'all. I'm Marcus D.Wiley at Marcus D.Wiley. You listen to Designated Driver. Appreciate you. We out of here.
Yeah.